What lies behind the greatest minds that shape the world? Is it merely brilliant ideas, or a combination of trauma, sacrifices, and extreme choices? Elon Musk, one of the most influential figures of our time, has built empires ranging from revolutionary electric cars to private space exploration. Yet, his journey is far from a fairy tale. Behind the achievements are stories of financial losses, emotional instability, and decisions that push boundaries. In this video, we will uncover the hidden layers of his trajectory. We'll explore how he turned failures into historical milestones, but also what he left behind. Broken relationships, internal tensions, and a void that even his monumental success couldn't fill. Musk's story is as inspiring as it is unsettling. It's an invitation to understand how the desire to change the world can transform and destroy one's own life. He was born into an environment where inequality was as tangible as the air he breathed. The apartheid regime in South Africa spared no one, least of all an introspective and curious child like him. From an early age, it was clear he wasn't like the others. While most children played carefree, he immersed himself in questions about how things worked, dismantling objects and exploring the unknown. His mind was fascinating, but being different also made him isolated. At school, the situation was even tougher. He endured constant bullying from peers who didn't understand his uniqueness. At home, the lack of emotional support made everything harder. But instead of succumbing to despair, he found solace in reading and self-determination, crafting a way to escape the oppressive reality around him. This was when he began building the resilience that would guide him throughout his life. What made him special was his ability to turn adversity into fuel for growth. He sought meaning in everything, even when there seemed to be none. His view of the world was a blend of early genius and a constant need to challenge the status quo. Even when everything seemed against him, something within him pushed him forward. This inner strength led him to discover something that would completely change his perception of life. Amid the difficulties, he found inspiration in a book that expanded his horizons and planted the seed for his grand ambitions. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like if you relate to this story. Don't forget to comment on how you turn your challenges into achievements. Few books have the power to transform a life, but that's exactly what The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy did for him. More than just a work of fiction, it presented a philosophy that defied conventions. The idea that questions are more valuable than answers left a deep impression on him. This lesson prompted him to reassess his life and establish goals that transcended the immediate. With this perspective, he defined 3 ambitious objectives: exploring space, promoting energy sustainability, and developing technologies to improve people's lives. These weren't just projects. They were declarations of purpose. His journey shifted from mere survival to making an impact. Transformations like this require the courage to leave the familiar behind and embrace the uncertain. And that's exactly what he did. This realization led him to seek opportunities outside South Africa, an environment he considered limiting for his dreams. He began a journey to the United States, where he found fertile ground for his ideas. Leaving his comfort zone wasn't easy, but he knew it was the only way to bring his plans to life. Now, with a clear vision and bold goals, he was ready to take the next step, turning ideas into reality. But the transition from dreams to action would be marked by challenges and failures that would test his determination like never before. If you find this pursuit of purpose inspiring, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. He began his entrepreneurial journey by creating a digital mapping software platform called Zip2, an idea that was sold for millions in a short time. With the money, he founded X.com, which later evolved into PayPal, redefining the online payments industry. These early ventures were essential stepping stones for what was to come, but they weren't without difficulties. The competition was fierce, and he had to make risky but strategic decisions. When he sold PayPal, many expected him to retire. Instead, he reinvested nearly his entire fortune into projects that seemed improbable: a rocket company and an electric car company. SpaceX and Tesla were born from his vision of a more sustainable and exploratory future. However, these projects faced immense obstacles. Rockets failed, Tesla accumulated losses, and for a time, it seemed everything would fall apart. During the 2008 financial crisis, he reached a point where he had to choose between saving one of his companies or risking everything to sustain both. He decided to invest every last cent, risking complete bankruptcy. What seemed like madness became triumph. SpaceX successfully launched, and Tesla revolutionized the automotive market, becoming a symbol of innovation. Even as the businesses began to prosper, the emotional and personal impacts of these decisions started to surface. He was proving that dreams could be turned into reality, but at what cost? It was time to reflect on the human consequences of such an unrelenting pace. Enjoying the content? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss stories as inspiring as this one. Behind every achievement was a personal life fraught with conflict. His first marriage ended in divorce, largely due to his emotional unavailability. His dedication to work was so intense that it seemed he lived in a different world, leaving those around him feeling neglected. New relationships brought new challenges, but the pattern of emotional instability persisted. While facing personal struggles, the financial weight of his ventures was crushing. He reportedly slept in his office during the most severe crises, dedicating every second to work. This intensity took its toll. Despite all his success, there were moments when he felt emotionally drained, almost unable to bear the pressure. Finding balance seemed impossible. He was always on the move, always chasing the next innovation, but the emotional void remained. This duality is one of the defining features of his journey. A visionary who appeared to have it all but carried deep, unhealed wounds. Still, his determination never wavered. He remained driven by something greater, something that kept him focused even when everything seemed to collapse. It was proof that his pursuit wasn't just for material achievements, but for a deeper purpose. Comment below how you deal with emotional and financial challenges. We'd love to hear your perspective and learn from your experiences. For him, work was never just about business. It was about pushing the boundaries of what humanity could achieve. His obsession with creating a more sustainable future and expanding human presence in space was fueled by a philosophy of constant exploration. It wasn't about finding definitive answers, but about opening doors to new possibilities. Yet, there was a paradox within his journey. The very ambition that made him a global icon also became his greatest source of restlessness. No matter how much he accomplished, he was always driven to do more. This unending pursuit was both his defining strength and an emotional burden. It raises a question: how often do we stop to consider whether the pursuit itself is our true purpose? Despite the success, his story reminds us that innovation comes with sacrifices. His relentless drive to shape the future left marks on his personal life and health, but it also laid the groundwork for humanity's next great leaps. It's a story that challenges us to think about what we are willing to risk for our dreams. Today, his companies stand as symbols of progress, but his life reveals the complexity behind the triumphs. It urges us to reflect. What are we prepared to face in pursuit of our goals, and what are we unintentionally giving up along the way? If you've been inspired by this journey, share this video with others who need motivation to keep chasing their dreams.